Most people think that aging means slowing down, losing strength, and gradually becoming invisible. But here's what science now shows clearly. That decline is not inevitable, especially for women who adopt one daily habit that changes everything. In one of the largest studies on aging ever conducted, Harvard researchers followed more than 70,000 women for over 20 years. The women who practiced this one habit daily had significantly lower rates of heart disease, memory loss, mobility issues, and even depression. Not only did they live longer, they stayed stronger, physically, mentally, emotionally. This habit doesn't require a gym membership, expensive equipment, or complicated routines. It's something most of us can do, and probably underestimate. But when done consistently and with purpose, it becomes a powerful force for preserving independence, confidence, and vitality. And here's what makes it especially important after 65. This is the age when we lose muscle mass, balance, and cardiovascular flexibility more rapidly. But those who do this every day don't just slow that process, they often reverse it. Their bodies become more efficient, their brains more resilient, and their sense of self much stronger than you'd expect. In this video, you'll learn what this daily habit is and exactly how it protects your muscles, memory, and mood. How women just like you, from 65 to 83, made it part of their lives. The surprising ways it boosts energy, digestion, sleep, and even self-esteem. No hype, no magic tricks, just evidence-backed transformation that starts with one simple choice. For decades, the dominant message about aging, especially for women, was resignation, slow down, take it easy. It's just part of getting older. But that narrative is outdated, and frankly, it's dangerous. Because while it's true that our bodies change after 65, what most people get wrong is this: loss of strength, mobility, and energy isn't just about age. It's about use, or more precisely, disuse. Harvard geriatrician Dr. Suzanne Salaman puts it simply: muscles don't know how old you are. They respond to what you ask them to do. And when you stop asking them to support you, move you, stabilize you, they shrink. Not because you're aging, but because you've stopped giving them a reason to stay. This is where the concept of functional reserve becomes crucial. Functional reserve is the extra capacity your body builds over time, the strength, balance, lung power, and brain flexibility you don't always need, but absolutely rely on in moments of stress, illness, or change. Think of it like your savings account. If you've built up enough reserve, you can handle unexpected withdrawals, like recovering from surgery, fighting off an infection, or simply navigating a week with poor sleep. Without it, even small challenges can spiral into major setbacks. And here's the real turning point after 65. The rate at which we lose functional reserve accelerates, unless we deliberately protect it. That's why daily movement isn't optional. It's not about burning calories or looking younger. It's about preserving access to your life, your choices, your freedom. But let's be honest, that message hasn't always reached women, especially those raised to put others first, minimize their needs, or believe that taking care of yourself was selfish or vain. By the time many women hit their 60s or 70s, they've internalized a silent withdrawal from their own physical power. They stop reaching overhead, stop walking long distances, stop trusting their balance. And once that confidence erodes, the spiral begins, first in the body, then in the mind. But it doesn't have to be that way. Studies from UCLA and Johns Hopkins have shown that women who maintain daily movement into their 70s and 80s aren't just physically stronger. They have higher emotional resilience, better memory, and a significantly lower risk of falls, fractures, and dependence. And it's not because they're naturally athletic or genetically lucky. It's because they made a choice, often a very small one, to stay in motion, consistently, purposefully. So, if you've ever felt like you're slowing down, ask yourself this: have I stopped asking my body to show up for me? Because your muscles are listening. Your joints are listening. Your brain is listening. And when you start to engage them again, even gently, they begin to respond. You don't need to do everything all at once, but doing something every day, even for 10 or 15 minutes, is how you rebuild that reserve. That strength, that quiet confidence that says, I'm not done yet. And the best part, you're not starting from zero. Every step you take, every breath you deepen, every time you choose movement over stillness, you're sending a signal to your body: keep going, I still need you. Have you ever imagined starting each day with more energy, health, and confidence? My special calendar, 365 Days of Health, Beauty, and Wisdom, has been carefully created with practical tips and daily inspirations that will transform your routine and renew your vitality after 50. Don't wait any longer to live your best days. Click the link pinned in the first comment to get your calendar now. If there's one habit that consistently shows up in longevity research, from Harvard to the Mayo Clinic to Blue Zone studies, it's this: walking. Not just random steps around the house, not occasional strolls at the mall, but intentional, daily walking, ideally outdoors, ideally with purpose, and ideally for at least 20 to 30 minutes. This simple act creates profound effects on your muscles, your brain, and your emotional state. Let's start with muscle. After the age of 65, most women lose between 1% and 3% of muscle mass per year. It doesn't sound like much, until you realize that by your mid-70s, that loss can leave you struggling with stairs, rising from a chair, or carrying groceries. But here's the good news. Studies show that women who walk daily retain significantly more muscle, especially in the lower body, hips, thighs, calves. Why? Because walking is weight-bearing. It signals to your muscles that you still need them, that they have a job. And when muscles stay active, so do your bones, joints, and coordination. Now let's talk about the brain. One of the most cited studies from Stanford found that walking, even slow walking, increases creative thinking, memory retention, and mental clarity. That's because walking boosts circulation, which delivers more oxygen and nutrients to the brain. It also reduces cortisol, the stress hormone that shrinks the hippocampus, the very part of the brain responsible for memory. So every time you walk, you're not just working your legs, you're preserving your mind. And then there's mood. Depression and anxiety often increase with age, not because of hormones, but because of isolation and stagnation. But walking, especially outdoors, interrupts that cycle. It lifts mood through endorphin release, reduces feelings of helplessness, and reactivates your connection to movement, rhythm, and presence. A 2023 study from Johns Hopkins showed that women over 65 who walked at least 5 times a week had 35% lower rates of depressive symptoms compared to sedentary peers. Not because they were happier to begin with, but because movement itself helped change their brain chemistry. Here's something else. Walking becomes even more powerful when you pair it with intention. Some women use that time to listen to music or a podcast. Others walk with a friend, a neighbor, or even alone in silence, treating it like a moving meditation. What matters is not speed, it's consistency, showing up for your body the same way it shows up for you every day. Still, many women dismiss walking as not enough. They think if it doesn't leave them sweating, it doesn't count. But that mindset is rooted in the younger you fitness culture, not the science of healthy aging. Dr. James Chun, a mobility specialist who studies aging populations, says when you walk with rhythm and purpose every day, you're not just adding years to your life. You're adding life to your years, balance, cognition, self-respect. So, if you're wondering how to stay strong without putting stress on your joints, if you want more clarity without relying on another supplement, if you want to feel better without forcing a strict routine, start walking every day, rain or shine, indoors or out, morning or evening. Make it yours. Because here's the truth, the strongest women over 65 aren't the ones with perfect diets or perfect bodies. They're the ones who kept moving, who said, I still matter, who gave their body a daily reason to thrive. It's one thing to hear what science says, but real transformation happens when you see what's possible in women just like you. Women who didn't grow up athletic, who never identified as fitness people, but who made one daily change and watched their lives open up again. Let's start with Marsha, 68, retired nurse from North Carolina. After decades of working night shifts and caring for others, Marsha's own health had taken a back seat. She had gained weight, felt stiff every morning, and avoided social events because she didn't trust her balance. Her turning point came after a minor fall in the grocery store, not from a major trip, but simply turning to fast in the aisle. I realized, she said, that if I didn't build back my strength now, I might not get another chance. Marsha started walking 5 minutes a day. That's it. In her driveway, in her robe. Over 6 months, she worked up to 30-minute walks, sometimes with her daughter on the phone, sometimes just listening to the birds. It wasn't about weight, she told us, it was about not feeling scared of my own body anymore. Then there's Diane, 72, from Arizona. Diane lives alone and struggles with mild anxiety, especially in the mornings. She'd read about the mental health benefits of morning movement but felt too overwhelmed to begin. So she made a simple rule. Before coffee, before email, just put on shoes and walk around the block. No pressure, no expectation. I call it my sanity loop. She laughs. Even on bad days, I do it. And 9 times out of 10, my whole mood shifts by the time I'm back. And finally, Louisa, 83, Miami native, former high school Spanish teacher. Louisa didn't start walking for health. She started for grief. After losing her husband, she felt herself slipping into numbness. Her daughter suggested short walks after dinner, just to mark the end of the day. It gave me a rhythm again, she said. At first, it was just to survive. But now, it's my gift to myself. It keeps me alive, emotionally and physically. What do all these women have in common? Not routines that look the same, but intentionality, consistency, and compassion for their starting point. They didn't wait to feel motivated. They didn't shame themselves for slowing down. They just started small. And slowly, walking became more than a habit. It became a personal ritual. A way to reconnect with their bodies, reclaim control over their days, and rebuild confidence, one step at a time. The science backs up what their stories show. Routine builds resilience, movement builds momentum, and self-respect builds everything else. Have you ever imagined starting each day with more energy, health, and confidence? My special calendar, 365 days of health, beauty, and wisdom, has been carefully created with practical tips and daily inspirations that will transform your routine and renew your vitality after 50. Click the link pinned in the first comment to get your calendar now and begin your own story of renewal. Because here's the truth, you don't need to follow someone else's pace. You just need to find your own and honor it every day. Let's be honest, starting a new habit after 65 can feel overwhelming. Even if it's just walking, it's not the distance that holds most women back. It's the mental clutter. Where do I begin? What if I get tired? What if I can't stick with it? That hesitation is real, and it deserves real solutions, not generic advice like just do it, because lasting change after 65 isn't about discipline. It's about strategy, safety, and self-respect. Here's how you start walking daily, even if you feel stuck, stiff, or unsure. 1. Start with a location, not a distance. Forget counting steps or miles for now. Instead, pick a specific place. Your driveway, your block, the perimeter of your home, the hallway if you're indoors. By anchoring your habit to a place, it becomes concrete and less negotiable. You're not aiming for a number, you're committing to a route. 2. Attach it to something you already do. This is called habit stacking, one of the most proven methods in behavioral science. Pair your walk with an existing routine. After morning coffee, right after washing dishes, as soon as you feed your pet, this reduces decision fatigue. You don't have to find time. The time is already there. You're just using it differently. 3. Make it easy to begin. Keep your walking shoes visible, near the door, under your coat rack, next to your bed. Choose comfortable clothes the night before. Set a reminder on your phone that says, honor your strength. The easier it is to start, the more likely you are to follow through, especially on days when motivation is low. 4. Use the 5-minute rule. Tell yourself, I'll just walk for 5 minutes. If that's all you do, it counts. But often, once your body gets moving, you'll naturally go longer. The key is showing up, not performing. 5. Track it, but gently. You don't need an app. A small notebook works beautifully. Each day you walk, make a check mark, or write the word done. This visual cue builds momentum and helps you see your consistency, which reinforces your identity as someone who moves. 6. Have a backup plan for bad days. To cold, walk indoors. To tired, do 1 lap around the kitchen. In pain, try gentle range of motion instead of full walking, but still move. Your goal isn't perfection, it's continuity. 7. Reward the effort, not the outcome. After each walk, say something kind to yourself. I did that. I showed up. I'm building something. This emotional reinforcement is what turns a routine into a relationship with your body, one rooted in care, not criticism. Because here's the truth, after 65, every bit of consistent movement pays back more than you think. Not just in strength, but in clarity, mood, energy, and identity. You're not walking to stay in shape. You're walking to stay connected to your body, your day, your choices. No matter where you're starting, the path forward is already under your feet. You just need to take that first step, gently but firmly. By now, you know that walking helps you stay mobile and strong. But what if we told you it also affects your hormones, digestion, immune function, and even how your skin looks? Because walking, especially after 65, doesn't just move your legs, it regulates your entire system. Let's start with something most women don't hear enough about: insulin sensitivity. After menopause, many women experience rising blood sugar, even without changing their diets. Why? Because estrogen plays a key role in how our cells absorb glucose. When estrogen drops, blood sugar often spikes. But walking after meals, especially a 10 to 20-minute stroll, lowers blood sugar levels by helping your muscles pull glucose out of the bloodstream. This protects your brain, your arteries, and your energy levels. A study published in Diabetology has shown that light post-meal walking reduced blood sugar spikes more effectively than taking a walk at other times of day, especially in older adults. Now let's talk about digestion. Bloating, sluggish digestion, and constipation become more common after 60, but gentle walking stimulates peristalsis, the natural muscle contractions of the intestines, and helps regulate bowel movements without the need for laxatives or fiber overload. Just 15 minutes of movement after a meal can significantly improve digestion, according to research from the Mayo Clinic. Then there's immunity. Walking stimulates the production of immune cells, particularly natural killer cells, which your body uses to detect and destroy viruses and abnormal cells. In fact, older adults who walk regularly have fewer respiratory infections and recover faster when they do get sick. This effect is especially important during colder months, when movement tends to decline and illness risk goes up. What about skin and appearance? You won't hear this from skincare ads. Improves circulation, the kind walking delivers, enhances skin tone, elasticity, and oxygenation. That glow people chase with creams, it often comes more reliably from movement. Because when your blood moves, nutrients get delivered to your skin more efficiently. Waste gets cleared, inflammation drops. So yes, walking can make you look more vibrant, not because it burns fat, but because it supports every layer of your biology. Now, let's touch on something more internal: self-perception. When you walk every day, something quiet but powerful shifts in your identity. You stop seeing your body as a problem to manage and start seeing it as a partner again. A vessel that still responds, still adapts, still shows up for you. That emotional shift affects your posture, your presence, your willingness to be seen, not just by others, but by yourself. And that might be the most powerful beauty benefit of all. Because in a world that still tells older women to shrink, hide, or fade, you're doing the opposite. You're reclaiming space, reclaiming energy, reclaiming motion. So if you've ever wondered, is it really worth it? Does walking every day actually change anything? Let the science say yes. Let the stories say yes. And most importantly, let your own body feel the answer, one day at a time. If you've made it this far, you already know this isn't about walking. It's about how you choose to show up for yourself, one step, one day, one choice at a time. Because strength after 65 isn't just physical. It's emotional, it's cognitive, it's energetic. And the habit of moving, daily, deliberately, is what keeps those systems talking to each other, supporting each other, protecting your independence. You don't need to change your life overnight. You don't need to walk for miles. You just need to remind your body that you're still here, still choosing, still worthy of vitality. And here's something powerful to remember: you are not behind. Wherever you're starting from is the perfect place to begin. There's no lost time, only the next moment. And that next moment, it's yours to claim. So, tomorrow, When you wake up and feel that familiar tug, the doubt, the stiffness, the question of should I even bother? Answer it with your shoes. Answer it with a step. Answer it with the quiet voice that says, yes, I'm still becoming. You've now learned the science. You've seen the stories. You've received the strategies. But if you're ready to go deeper, to bring even more purpose, clarity, and rhythm to your days, your next step is this. Watch our next video, 7 Things Women Over 60 Should Do Weekly. It expands on everything you've learned here and helps you create a routine that supports your strength from the inside out. You'll find it linked right here on the screen and the pinned comment below. You're not alone in this, and you're not done. Let's keep walking together.